and welcome to Thursday's edition of the Regional News. We begin with news from Brazil. After 3 days of ferocious rains, a family of two fled their flooded home in early May and let loose their humble dairy herd on higher ground. Nearby, the waters rose above her head and within a day, they were lapping at the roofs of houses. Record-breaking floods in southern Brazil, the result of weather patterns intensified by climate change, have only started to recede after displacing 500,000 people in the state of Rio Grande and killing more than 160. The full extent of the losses is still coming into focus, especially in rural areas where farmers produce much of Brazil's rice, wheat, and dairy. We tell you now that British oil major BPL and Trinidad and Tobago State Energy Firm, NGC, have received a 2-year license from the U.S. Treasury Department to negotiate and develop gas fields with Venezuela. Washington last month did not renew a broad license that had allowed Venezuela to freely export its oil and receive investment, but it has since issued individual authorizations to companies trying to do business in the South American country. The authorization is the second issued by the U.S. for energy projects between the two countries, following a license in early 2023 to Shell and NGC for development of the Dragon gas field in Venezuela. The project would export gas to Trinidad under a license recently extended through October 2025. And now for some international news. Israeli forces have taken control of a buffer zone along the border between Gaza Strip and Egypt, the country's military giving Israel effective authority over the Palestinian territories' entire land border. Israel also continued deadly raids on Rafah in southern Gaza, despite an order from the International Court of Justice to end attacks on the city, where half of Gaza's 2.3 million people have previously taken refuge. The border with Egypt along the southern edge was a Gaza Strip-only land border that Israel had not controlled directly. Earlier on Wednesday, Israel sent tanks on raids into Rafah. They had moved into the heart of Rafah for the first time on Tuesday, despite an order from the top United Nations court to immediately halt the assault on the city.
Former President Donald Trump has been convicted in his hush money trial in New York City. This is a really significant moment. It's the first time in history that a former American president has been convicted in a criminal trial of felony charges. This is a moment that's going to matter both legally and politically. Legally, these are 34 felony charges that carry 4 years in prison, although it's not known whether prosecutors are going to seek any prison time or whether the judge is going to impose any prison time. Politically, the implications remain to be seen, but there's no question that Trump is going to clearly try to rally his base and to try to get voters and his supporters to believe that this is a case of political persecution, as he has long maintained. But it's also possible that American voters are going to be turned off by the idea of electing a candidate who is now a convicted felon. This case has been unfolding for months. It concerns hush money payments that prosecutors say were made to a porn actor who alleged that she had an extramarital sexual encounter with Trump a decade before the 2016 presidential election. And prosecutors say Stormy Daniels was paid to keep quiet and to prevent those claims of a sexual relationship from surfacing during the final days of the 2016 presidential election. And the allegations here were that Trump falsified business records to prevent the true nature of those payments from being revealed.
I am KERESE Gonzalez. Thank you for watching.